We are live. We are live. Welcome to college football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football, even disguises. Welcome on in. If you love everything about college football, please consider subscribing to this ever-growing channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. If you want to donate to our channel, it's what keeps us alive. Hit that $sign with a comment, and we'll get you a comment as soon as we possibly can. Welcome into the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be a PATC legend in the chat room with your comments or with your phone calls later in the show. Greg, where's your Halloween costume? The fat guy from Minnesota does not need a Halloween costume. I'm as scary as it is right now as you see me today. Okay. I don't know. I did not want to do this live show. This one I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do it. I want to wait till later tonight when the college football rankings come out and we do real-time reaction. Look, it's Halloween night. A lot of you are going to be busy. No one's going to show up to my live show anyways, but I was going to do it, and I think I'm still going to do it. And no one's going to show up to this live show. But I got to do it. I have to do it. For those who are asking what the hell is going on around here, I don't have an answer. But I'm saying the same thing. So this show is for those who are just throwing up their hands and saying, what is going on? Dabo Sweeney loses it in a question, open mic, open phone calls. He absolutely explodes on a guy. Tyler from Spartanburg. Pat Narduzzi is going off on his team. I don't know. He tried to walk it back. I don't know what Pat Narduzzi's doing. Has he always been this odd? You can go right down the list. Things are just crazy in college football. Next year is the crazy year. Next year. This year we're supposed to have some, last year of how everything is. We're supposed to be able to just relax, watch college football, cry when we lose, cheer when we win, but so much drama. And then the Michigan story. I keep saying, be careful when you say this can't possibly happen or that, including me. We all got to be careful about saying this can't possibly happen. That can't possibly happen. Because really none of us know how deep this goes. Connor Stalions, is he the guy on the sidelines? Is that him? Is that him on the Central Michigan sidelines? Is it? It looks like him. It looks like him. Now, for those who have been hiding under a rock or who've been avoiding this channel because we keep talking about this Michigan story, first of all, I've got nothing against Michigan. College football's peak around the corner, goes where the story goes. And this is a huge story. So we go in there and we analyze every little bit about it. Some of the stuff that's been thrown around, I haven't taken any time talking about it because I haven't gotten it confirmed. Like Michigan breaking into Ohio State's cloud, getting their practice tapes, a whole bunch of stories circling around that I do not find plausible at this. Myself poking and prodding with the people that I talk to, there's a lot of stuff being thrown around that doesn't have any tangible truth. The story's crazy enough without creating stuff that is not true. But the Connor Stallions, is he the guy at the Central Michigan's sideline? Let me just, first of all, I have a lot to go through on this story. Let's just take a look at, and keep your head on a swivel. There could be breaking news happening during this live show. In fact, I expect there to be breaking news on this story in this live show. Again, let me just put up. First of all, let me backtrack. A lot of people don't know what we're talking about here. Connor Stalions, he could. It looks like he might have, or at least there's a person who looks exactly like him. Connor Stalions might have been on the Central Michigan's Chippewas sideline in a game against Michigan State this year. September 1st, Friday. September 1st, Friday, SMU played against Michigan State at Michigan State. Saturday, Michigan had a game. Now, Connor Stalions, how would he get onto the sidelines of Central Michigan? He's a recruiting analyst. He's a staffer of Michigan. He should not be on Central Michigan's sideline. What is he doing there? If he was there, let me show you a picture. Or first of all, let me show you this. There's Connor Stalions in the FS1 broadcast. Is that him? Or is that not him? Now, this is 41 seconds to go in the second quarter. There's better pictures out there. We'll get to them. I just want to show you this timestamp here. 41 seconds to go in the second quarter. Michigan State versus Central Michigan. Connor Stalions is wearing, or whoever this is, he's wearing sunglasses for a night game. This is almost halftime. This is a night game. Nobody else is wearing sunglasses but this gentleman. He's got a Central Michigan Chippewas hat on. He's got a Central Michigan matching shirt on with the rest of the coaching staff. This is Jim McElwain, the head coach. He's got a visitor's pass. Nobody else has that visitor's pass. It says VP on there. Interesting enough, there's pictures out there of Mr. Connor Stallions in the Michigan game on September 2nd on a Saturday. He was all clean shaven. Now, here's just a funny little, here's Connor Stallions, Michigan, morphing his face into the Central Michigan photo of him being there on the, I think you should probably take that as more entertaining than anything that's scientific. But it sure looks like him, right? I mean, it looks like him. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Ladies and gentlemen, maybe the person on the sidelines is not Jim Stalions. Okay? Maybe it's not. Here's the problem, though. Here is the problem. Nicole Harbaugh puts out a tweet. Central Michigan is investigating whether Connor Stalions was on its sideline versus the Michigan State game in Central Michigan gear. Athletic Director Amy Folin, we became aware of these photos late yesterday, and we are in the process of determining the facts surrounding them. We have no further comment at this time. You know how long it would take to determine if that wasn't Connor Stalions? I mean, if that was a known person on the sidelines, if his name was Bob Jones, they would know that instantly. Central Michigan would have already put that out. This is Bob Jones. This isn't Connor Stalions. This is Bob Jones. Or whatever. It's easy. It's easy. Easy peasy. Even a knucklehead like me can figure that out. You should know everybody on your side. A visitor's pass? A visitor pass. He's got a visitor's pass. You should have records on who you give visitors pass to. Again, it should take a couple minutes. It should take a couple minutes. Who gave him the Central Michigan Chippewas hat? Who gave him the matching shirt that looks like all the rest of the assistant coaches? Not the head coach, the rest of the assistant coaches. The Central Michigan shirt that all the other assistant coaches were wearing. Who gave them that? You mean if all the visitors get a Michigan hat and a Michigan assistant shirt and they get to stand by the assistant coaches? Really? Who gave them the gear? Now, we know that look, again, I don't know if this is Connor Stallions. But if it ain't, The name should be, we should have it right now. We should have it during this live show. There's no ifs and buts about it. We should have the name. Are you saying Central Michigan? Now, I'm not, the athletic director is investigating. We're just talking amongst each other here, right? I mean, if Central Michigan doesn't know who that person was on the sideline, then what type of security, safety for your players and your coaching staff and everybody else on that sideline? You just let someone walk in off the street, grab a Central Michigan gear, have them put sunglasses on during the night game. By the way, there's other pictures out there. He's got a big sheet of paper or placard or something in his hands. So there's somebody on the sidelines, you don't know who he is. Where did he go at halftime? This Bob Jones. Did he go into the locker room? Where did he go after the game? He just peel out, go in his car in the parking lot, drive home? Okay. Let's say it is Connor Stallions. And we at Peek Around the Corner are not saying 100% sure it's Connor Stallions. It could be somebody that looks like him. It's just odd that somebody hasn't said, no, it's definitely not him. The athletic director, the head coach, the assistant coaches, Connor Stallions himself, his lawyer, Michigan, somebody on the Michigan staff spending time with Connor Stalions on that Friday night before the game. None of them were in contact with Connor Stalions. None of them know for sure that it wasn't Connor Stalions. Again, we at Peek Around the Corner, we are not 100% saying it's Connor Stalions. We'll let the investigation of Central Michigan play out. But let's say, if allegedly, however I need to protect myself, let's pretend it was Connor Stallions. How in the blessed moon did a staffer in Michigan get a pass to be on the Central Michigan sideline watching Michigan State, a future Michigan Wolverines opponent, in the same year? Which absolutely goes against all in-person scouting. It's prohibited. How did he get that? Are you telling me that Connor Stallions, if it was Connor Stallions, has the stroke in the football Mac community where he can just pick up the phone, say, hey, can I get I'm free here. Can I get a pass, a visitor's pass, and just watch a game on the sideline, And who's on the other end of that line saying, oh, sure, Connor, sure, we know. Do you think Connor really picked up the phone and had the stroke to get that pass? I know that McElwain, the head coach, is a former assistant coach of Jim Harbaugh, and there's assistant coaches on Central Michigan that have ties to Michigan. So did Connor call one of the other assistant coaches and say, hey, can I stand on the sidelines? And what do they say on the other end of the phone? Oh, yeah, sure. Come on. Sure. Even though it goes against the rules. Sure. And then he strolls in there and he's wearing sunglasses. Come on. I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What is going on? As the story goes, I keep asking the question, where is the bottom? How low does it go? If this is Connor Stallions, if it is, we don't know if it is, but if it is, what other games did he go to? In Central Michigan, what are you doing? What are you doing? But if that is Connor Stalions, who got him in there? I'm not buying that he could have got in there by himself. I'm not buying that there's a stranger on Central Michigan sidelines with sunglasses on and nobody knew he was there. They didn't know his name. They can't tell the athletic director right now that it was Connor Stalions, and this is the reason we let him on the sidelines. Look, and I'm just speculating here, I got to believe this process that the athletic director is talking about right here, Amy Folin, we became aware of these photos late yesterday, and we are in the process of determining the facts surrounding them. I think it would take about 2 minutes to determine if this is Connor Stallions or not. This should take 2 minutes. If it's not Connor Stallions, we should have already heard about it. If it is Connor Stallions, that is where the facts surrounding the investigation is. How did he get on our sidelines? Why was he permitted as a paid employee of the University of Michigan on their recruiting staff? That's his title. But of course, we know what he does. How was he permitted? Who had the gumption to even ask for him to get on the sidelines? But that's not going to be athletic director Amy Folin's part of the investigation. So there is no more. There is no more, if this is Connor Stallions, this whole idea of, it's only prohibited for in-person scouting if there is a scout on the sidelines and all that gibberish. None of that was true. It's prohibited in-person scouting. Anybody can do the scouting. The other parts of the rule was when people talked about when they needed clarity in the rule, talking about is it permitted for a scout to be at a contest, like a tournament, where it's all in the same venue. Can that scout be at a game, at their potential opponent's game in the next round of the playoffs? And the answer was yes. This in-person scouting is prohibited no matter who's doing the filming of the opposing team. But now with this Connor Stallions being on the sidelines, I think people are trying to find ways to figure out how this is not illegal against the rules. I think that whole talking point has been absolutely destroyed if this is Connor Stalions. I'm going to get to your comments. Again, if you hit the $sign, make a donation. I'll get to it as fast as I can. I've got a lot to get through on this story. Now check it out. It says CMU didn't cheat. It's the Michigan coach that cheated. Maybe SMU thought he wanted to recruit SMU players. Look, again, I don't know. Maybe Central Michigan did not use Stalions' information on Michigan State's hand signals from the year prior. Maybe he did. I don't know. But again, I think we all have to be wary, including me, especially me, saying this did not happen. This definitely did not happen. Because every day, drip, 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 we find out something more. ESPN. Central Michigan investigating Michigan's Connor Stallions' potential sidelines presence. Central Michigan is investigating photos that show a man resembling Michigan Wolverine staff member Connor Stalions on the sideline for the September 1st opener at Michigan State. Central Michigan is investigating. Athletic Director Amy Folin, in a statement to ESPN, said the school became aware of the photos late Monday. The man resembling Stallions is dressed in Central Michigan issued gear and standing alongside several of the team coaches while wearing a bench credential. He's wearing Central Michigan issued gear. He's not there in his jeans. He's not there in his, well, maybe he is. He's not there in a Nike sweatshirt. He's sitting there, Central Michigan issued gear for their coaches. It's almost like they were, I'm sorry, but I only can say what I see. And I'm just speculating, but they were hiding him. Doesn't it look like they were hiding him? Central Michigan gear, sunglasses. He's standing near the coaches. He's not at the far end of the sideline. He's not sitting to the third. He's not sitting next to the third string field goal kicker. He's right with the coaches. What is going on around here? That should have been the name of the show. The credential reads VB and appears to be designated for the visiting bench area. Central Michigan was the visiting team. They were playing against Michigan State, which is different than a general sideline pass. It gives access to the designated area between the 20-yard lines, which is reserved for players, coaches, trainers, and equipment staff. Schools are given a finite amount of passes for each game. A VP pass, so he can be between the 20-yard lines. Issued Central Michigan Chippewas assistant coaching gear. We are in the process of determining the facts surrounding them, Folin's statement reads. As this process is ongoing, we have no further comment at this time. And then, Stallions is at the center of the NCAA investigation. Michigan has suspended him. Photos obtained by ESPN show a man wearing sunglasses during a night game. Boy, that makes a whole lot of sense. And holding a possible play sheet. He's not holding a Coca-Cola. He's not holding a hot dog like the fat guy from Minnesota would be if I was standing on the sidelines. He's holding a possible play sheet. Really? Interesting. A laminated play sheet, as Keep Choppin' says in the chat. The man appeared to shield his face anytime a play ended near where he was standing. Why did he do that? Because he knew the cameras was going to be on him as the play goes into the sidelines. He's hiding himself. And Central Michigan seemed to be in the game of hiding him as well. And why would they do that? If it's Connor Stallions, and if Central Michigan knew he was Connor Stallions, they knew it was wrong for Connor Stallions to be on that sideline, and of course they're trying to hide him. The man appeared to shield his face anytime a play ended near where he was standing, but was shown by FS1 cameras several times during the game's broadcast. Michigan State is aware of Stallion's potential presence at the opener. Michigan State is aware. And sources at Michigan State told ESPN that the school is discussing potential next steps as is prepared to cooperate with any formal investigation that arises from this. Michigan State, look, they're preparing to take potential next steps. I would like to know what the chat PATC community believes what those next steps could be. Sources told ESPN that Stallions purchased tickets at 12 Big Ten schools. We all know about that. The Central Michigan allegations is the first that potentially places Stallions on a sideline of a game involving a Michigan opponent. Central Michigan faced Michigan State the night before Michigan began its season against East Carolina. Photos show Stallions on the Michigan sideline for the September 2nd opener, and he was clean shaven, by the way. That beard was clean shaven the next day. Wonder why that is. Central Michigan has multiple staff members with ties to Michigan. The man who resembles Stallions appeared on the sideline near offensive line coach and Central Michigan Director of Recruiting Michael McGee for much of the game. Wow. Interesting. John Till, thank you for your super chat. They've got more excuses than a guy going to jail. Again, thank you so much for your generosity. I appreciate it. Again, is this Connor Stallions? And if it is, what is the defense of this? There is none. Other than, just deflections and playing the victim. And if this is Connor Stallions, what is the defense of this? Who got him that sideline pass? And why did Central Michigan give him gear? Assistant coach's gear. Again, thanks for the super chat, John. Sunglasses with fake nose and mustache. I don't believe there's a fake nose or mustache on there. But why is he wearing sunglasses? Why did he shield away, hide his face every time a play came to the sidelines? Whoever that was, thank you for your super chats, John. I appreciate it so very much. Whoever that was, if that was not Connor Stalions, it just so happens to be a guy who has a play sheet in his hands, who's got Central Michigan gear on, sunglasses, hiding himself, and it was the day before Michigan played. Let me get to your comments. First of all, let me thank everybody for coming on in on this show. Connor Stallions, is it him or not? Keep chopping. Thanks for coming on in. Richard L., Clint Moses. No, if it wasn't for this, Michigan State would have won. Nope, they still would have lost. But that's not the point. It just is not the point. Check it out. Big Ten needs to step in. I got more thoughts about that. I essentially agree. Tim W. Coach McElway got fired from Florida exaggerating death threats. Check it out. Paging Tony Petitti to the stage. Hagen. I very much fall in the camp of innocent until proven guilty. But my Lord, what a horrible look for these universities. No Big Ten investigation yet? Come on, guys. Read between the lines. You're going to have to spell it out for me. Jeff Olson says Crooks. Monovision, it was the one-armed man who killed his wife. Okay. Again, we'll get through some more of your comments here. I'm going to talk about one more story. Then we're going to get to your phone calls. Again, if you hit the $, we'll get to your comment right away. Please smash the like button. And after I go through the story, I'm going to open up the phone lines. I want to hear what you have to say about this. if it is Connor Stallions, what is the defense? What is the defense of this? And who got him in to be on the Central Michigan sidelines? Is Connor Stalions making $55,000 a year as a recruiting analyst? Does he have the stroke to get himself on the sidelines with a VP pass? Not a chance. Not a chance. So who got him? Who got him that pass? Who made the call to Central Michigan? Okay, I'm going to talk about one other story real quick here, and then we'll get to your phone calls. Revenue sharing with student athletes is coming, and it could mean more sports, could mean sports cutbacks. From the Louisiana Illuminator, Piper Hutchinson, yesterday's article, last night. And again, this is the world that we're heading into. We talked about this on episode number 1, the very first episode of this YouTube channel, 320 some episodes ago. Revenue sharing to student athletes is a coming. That's why Texas and Oklahoma called the SEC together. That's why USC called the Big Ten. Because the more revenue is even more crucial as the days and months and years go by, because there's going to be revenue sharing. If you want to compete, if you want to keep for the very top athletes that get to challenge for national championships, revenue sharing, not just NIL, but revenue sharing coming from the schools and or conferences, looks like it's happening. And LSU athletics administrator predicted there's a 90% chance, that's 9 out of 10, a judge will rule in favor of former student athletes in a case that could result in schools sharing revenue with players. I'm going to skip most of this article. If the judge were to side with former athletes, schools will likely shift toward revenue sharing, which could happen within the next few years. Taylor Jacobs, LSU Associate Athletic Director for NIL and Strategic Initiatives, told the Baton Rouge Press Club Monday. Jacobs said such a shift could mean a reduction in staff for the number of teams at college fields. And then talks about, as a former women's tennis player, it hurts my heart a little bit because I feel like we're going to see a lot of loss of sports. You're going to see smaller colleges not be able to sustain the model. LSU's athletic department is currently discussing how to handle that possibility. And so is everybody else. So is everybody else. I just wanted to touch upon that article. For the good and for the bad. The train is going down the tracks and schools are preparing for it. That's the main reason, the main driver of the last wave of realignment. And that realignment wave, it might have ended, but it's going to start up again real soon because North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, they're thinking the same way LSU is thinking, the same way that USC thought, the same way that Texas and Oklahoma thought in 2019. Revenue shares are coming. Student athletes, the top student athletes, the one that are the most valuable, in other words, revenue producing sports at your athletic department, they're going to be getting more and more and more compensation. And that's why we got movement. That's why we're going to see more movement ahead. That's the number one driver for Florida State to say, we got to get out of here. That's the number one driver of North Carolina and Clemson. That's just the way it is. And it has been this way for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Everybody, they came to it. Now, I shouldn't say everybody, but enough people at the biggest positions at athletics, college athletics, figured that this was going to be the direction. And we're seeing it happen. Texas and Oklahoma were going to get out the Big 12 exit ramp because they were going to be able to make more revenue, media revenue with the SEC. Same thing with USC. And Florida State, North Carolina, Clemson, and possibly a couple other schools in the ACC are going to be playing the long game. The long game. What is best for the athletic department to compete, the front porch of the universities, to be able to compete at the highest level when in the revenue sharing era of college sports. That's what this is about. Consolidation of brands, consolidation. That's where we're headed. So I just wanted to show that little bit of that article. LSU, athletic director, everyone's predicting it, or 90%. 90% chance of revenue sharing from the school, conference, or both. So your comments on that as well are, we will take those comments. Let's get to, I'm going to open up the phone lines. And I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to hold you to it. I don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. We're just, is that Connor Stalions? Is that Connor Stalions on the sidelines? And if it is, what does it mean? The phone lines are now open. The phone lines are now open. 763-260-1333. Phone lines are now open. Again, everyone's got to keep their head on a swivel. Everyone's got to keep your head on a swivel. Things could be popping during this live show. Again, is it Connor Stallions on the sideline or not? The athletic director.
Call from
JD.
JD, the line, the floor, and everything is open to you. What do you got to say, Mr. Seminole?
Hey, sir, sorry to jump the line. I got to go into a meeting here in a little while. But
No problem.
The last few minutes. But one thing that, and I'll be brief on this, you just brought up something about Florida State. And one of the things that I've heard a couple of the lawyers on the boards, message boards for FSU talking about was their legal avenue. And again, I can't remember the right phrasing and terminology and so on, but the legal argument that FSU could have is with the change in revenue and the change of the conference structures just in the last 6-7 years. There's material harm that they could claim to force some type of a settlement with the ACC. In other words, if you're just looking at the basics, hey, you signed a contract, you have to honor this contract, you have to stay in the conference till 2036. With the changes in the structure and the just the whole, I'm sorry, I'm going blank here.
No,
the way the sport is moving forward. The rules from 7 years ago or the landscape 7 years ago is obsolete. It's completely flipped on its head. You follow me?
Yep. No, I get it. Yep.
And that's their legal basis. And maybe Attorney Dave could call in, and because I thought I heard him reference something like they could claim harm under the current structure. And it would be a legal basis. And, again, that's not coming from FSU. There were just a couple of the lawyers on the boards that were talking about, well, one way that FSU could go about this. And, there may be some legitimate avenues that way, to proceed. But I think that's if they challenged it in court, that would be the avenue or the argument. And again, I'm sorry I don't remember the terminology. There's a legal term for it, but anyway. But I think we've already, I think we've already passed that point. I think the ACC is gonna negotiate anyway. But But that was it. I heard you talking about that, and I just thought I would throw that out there. What legal basis would they have? And it goes right along with what you're talking about. Athletes are about to be employees, or they're about to have some level of profit sharing with the universities. And a lot of universities like Wake Forest and Duke and even some of these others, they're not going to want to compete at the same levels as FSU and Clemson. They're not going to want to. They don't have the ability, and they're not going to. They won't want to compete at those same levels. And so laws like this, or the change in the structure, it absolutely separates all the programs. Do you want to compete at amateur level, or do you want to compete in the new model?
Yeah.
But do you think everybody's going to be forced into the new model, whether they like it or not?
Yeah. I think most people are going to just go with the new model. Not being, look, I don't see hardly anybody dropping out of highest level of competition. Power 5 in football, you want to call it a Power 6 in basketball, whatever, or now it's probably a Power 5, whatever. The thing is if you want to compete for national championships in a particular sport, then your revenue sharing has to be at the level of the other teams that are competing for a national championship at that sport. You know what I'm saying? Florida State could be behind the Big Ten, the big dogs in the Big Ten, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million a year, and still compete. And also with the SEC. The problem is if you have revenue sharing, now that gap of money becomes even more advantageous for the schools that have it. They're not just using that money now to build another waterfall in their athletic village. They're using that extra money advantage now to get the best quarterback, 2 running backs in your area because they can pay so much more than you can.
Well, where it becomes an issue is Title IX.
Yeah.
And the fact is that all these universities, like you said in the article, will have to start dropping sports. Well, Olympic sports are going to suffer. And, it's the chicken or the egg, conundrum here. You need the football to build the revenue for the athletic programs for all these universities. But you have to invest to have a successful football program to maximize revenue. But to do that, if you're at a disadvantage financially, then the other sports are the ones that are going to take the hit. The NIL is the thing that's going to bring, the players to the universities now. I mean, yes, facilities are great, other things are great, but NIL and opportunities. One of the things that FSU, one of their resurgences is that they have either one of the top 5 NIL partnerships or, associations, or it might be the best. The Battle's End is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And they're leading the way along with a handful of others, as far as, being innovative and fundraising and being a service to the players. So that's an asset for FSU. But when it comes to the other sports, and that's the thing, that's where the legal part comes in, and I'm not qualified to speculate too much on that. But, with this change in the whole structure and pay and potential employee and revenue sharing and so on, schools are going to be forced to do things that might technically be illegal.
Yeah.
And so something is going to have to step in, and I don't trust the NCAA to govern anything, So I think we might be getting forced into that new governing model, whatever that is, outside of the NCAA or whatever it is, like quickly. And I don't really trust Congress very much either.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'm raising more questions than I am throwing out possible solutions here. But anyway, just
right.
Some random thoughts here.
You got it. I don't think we have any answers to it. I think it's just, I brought that story up because that's what all the athletic directors are preparing themselves for, revenue sharing. So that's why Florida State's doing what they're doing. If anyone should ask. I don't think anyone's asking the question anymore, but I just wanted to point that out. But I appreciate it,
Sure.
JD.
All right, sir. And then on the Michigan stuff, I'm about opinioned out. Just whatever's going to happen. I don't really know what else to say, on all that. But all right, sir. I got to go into a meeting, but I got to jump the line. I just
appreciate it, man.
Kind of throw some stuff out there. Thanks.
Call again, Mr. Seminole. So, whoops. My bad. So, phone lines are back open. Look, again, is it him? Or is it not? Maybe it's not. I know a lot of people, look, this is Connor Stalions. This is the man who got the VP pass to be on the sidelines, which Central Michigan is investigating. Some people believe that this is not Connor Stalions because he's got hair. There's other pictures. I'll try to find those pictures in a little bit. There's where he's turning his head, and you can see there's a little bit, there's a decent, healthy amount of hair in the back of his head. While Connor Stalions here, in other pictures, he's basically bald. Has a short crew cut. Again, did he grow his hair out for this? This is a little thicker beard. The mouths are the same. This is a thicker beard than this picture. Again, I've also seen pictures of, I'll try to find it here. Here's I'm going to show this one. Here's a picture of a Central Michigan, a photo before the year started. Here's an assistant coach. I don't know the guy's name on it. He looks a little bit bigger than the picture of the guy in the hat and the sunglasses. But maybe it's him. However, why would he need a VP pass? Why would he need a visitor's pass? Why would he be wearing a visitor's pass? Why would he be wearing sunglasses? Maybe there's an explanation for it. And again, if it is him, whoever this is, if it was him on the sidelines, you would think it would take about a minute, about 30 seconds for Central Michigan to be able to report that the guy on the sidelines was this gentleman or this gentleman. Although it looks closer to this guy. This guy is, it just doesn't match. His head, his face is long. But anyways, whatever. So let me know what you're thinking. Is it him? Is it not him? And if it's him, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Even if it isn't him, the person in the picture is displaying some very questionable behavior. The guy had a visitor's badge with the Central Michigan shirt on. So if it is Connor Stallions, who gave him the shirt? Who gave him the visitor's pass? Who made the phone call for him? Anthony Carlson says his lips are too big. Whose lips are too big? The guy in the Central Michigan sideline or the Connor Stallions? Like, whose lips are bigger? I didn't even pick up on that. Whose lips are bigger? We're having a little fun with this, but again, let me go back here and see if I can. Big Ten Ted on Twitter. The mystery Chippewa is not Connor Stallions. The CMU guy on the sideline has hair. Connor's a baldy. What will they think of next? Should be pretty easy for Central Michigan to tell us who it was then. It's interesting. Big Ten Ted believes it's not him because of the hair. Is Connor Stallions always bald? He never had his hair grown out? Is he just naturally bald? Is Connor Stallions a baldy? Is he naturally bald? Again, pretty interesting. People believe it's not him because he has too much hair under the cap.
Call from
John Smith.
John Smith, the floor is yours. What do you got to say, sir?
You's a clown. Everything you doing is a clown show. Everything that y'all investigate is a clown show. It's good for you to have a show. I'm proud of you. I hope everything work out for you. But this is a clown show. Everything that going on against Michigan is a clown show. They're going to go undefeated. They're going to kick Ohio State's ass. And then we going to see who will be talking when we come to the big house. Come down here. That's all we asking. Everybody talking all that junk, but come on to the big house.
You've already
shut everybody up.
Yeah, you've already
shut everybody up.
Yeah, you've already whooped on my Gophers.
We gonna it don't matter. We gonna shut everybody up. All that we are the king of the Big Ten. We about to get 1,000 victories, the most in college football history. That's all
true.
This about. This about Ohio State got their butt kicked, and they want to say, "Oh, look at Michigan." No, stop it. Stop it. Be a man. When they show up here, watch all that talk stop. Watch all that talk stop. Everybody wants us to lose, but watch when they. I hope it snow. I was there 2021 when it snowed. I hope the snow gets so cold. Come on up. We waiting on you. We Wolverines. Thank you for your program. I appreciate it. I ain't called here to rag on you, but this a clown show. And you know what? It's okay for people to throw shit at you. Throw it, but you can't wipe it off because it's a smear campaign. That's all good. That's all they want. They want people to hate us, but you know what? Next year, people will forget about it. Everybody got short memories. Nobody remembers nothing till it's over. It's over next. Watch when we win. They know they can't do nothing. The NCAA cannot do nothing this year. And all this is, we already seen that the rules, it was all this against Michigan is because they sent somebody. So what? Everybody else doing it? Come on.
Okay.
You done heard the SEC. If they ain't cheating, they ain't trying. Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
Okay, hold on. I appreciate the phone call. I believe I respect your perspective on this because you're a Michigan Wolverine. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I just, when you said that everybody does this, what is everybody doing? In-person scouting, sending people to other people's stadiums?
Yes, this is a dirty game. Stop it. Why everybody acting like everybody's so clean here? Why everybody acting like even your program? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Stop it. This is big time college sports.
Okay,
Come
but
on,
if you're cheating and you get caught, then
What's
you got
cheating?
then you got
what's
got.
cheating? If it's not against the rules, it's not cheating.
Oh, so it is not against the rules. So you're not cheating.
If it's not against the rules, scouting is not against the rules.
Scouting in person is against the rules.
It's not against the rules.
It's in the rule book.
It's not against the rules.
It's in the rule book.
Everything they doing is just like the cheeseburger. Come on, man.
I'm not talking about the cheeseburger. I've never
Come on,
spent.
man.
Hold on.
Hold on.
This,
when you're on top, everybody want to pull you down, but nothing.
Hold on. I love this phone call. All right, I appreciate you calling. I'm not talking about the cheeseburger. I've never spent any time talking about the cheeseburger.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's no different than that. It ain't no different than this.
Okay, but in-person scouting is prohibited since 1994. I'm
watching your program, and I'm cracking up with the pictures and the lips. Stop it. Central Michigan, come on, man. Yeah, hey, it's okay. This so-called journalism, you know what I'm saying? It's entertainment. It's okay.
It is.
You do what you want.
You know, it is part of entertainment. No question about it. I have to be entertaining, else no one's going to watch me.
Right, and I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at
you.
I'm not mad at what you're doing.
But
I'm just calling, expressing my opinion.
You're calling it like how you see it, and I appreciate it. However, just let me defend this program 1 second here. I don't take myself too seriously, but I do take what we do here seriously. We're following the story. There is some stuff here that has been brought up, that has been brought forward, that is against the rules, that is stated in the rule book. And if this was Ohio State, if this was Michigan, if this was Rutgers, I'd be handling the story in the same exact manner. I just want to put that out.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Okay.
And I know this is what you do every day. And I respect that. And I'm not calling here and you out saying you wrong. What I'm saying is we still gonna win.
You probably are. You heard what PJ Fleck.
Watch the numbers.
Yeah.
Watch how many we beat people by.
Yeah. You heard what
you know what? You know what they did wrong?
Yeah.
They should have did this at the beginning of the season. Now we had a week off. We gonna drop these last 4 teams. Y'all don't think we good? Stop it.
You heard what PJ Fleck said about Michigan.
Yes, the best team he ever saw.
Yeah. So
ever saw.
Yes.
Not played against. The best team he ever competed against.
Yeah.
Stop it. He ain't just saying that for nothing. If you look at us, I'm gonna be honest. J.J. McCarthy's the best quarterback in the conference, best quarterback in the country. We got the best system. We got the best offensive line. Look, the game is won on the field. It ain't won on your TV program. It ain't won on the internet. The game is won in Ann Arbor. It's gonna be won. It's gonna be won in November in Ann Arbor, and we gonna show the world. We gonna shut y'all up, have a good time. But I want everybody that's saying all this stuff now to shut up. You got a right to talk. But when we smoke the Buckeyes,
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is that Connor Stalions on the Central Michigan sideline?
Be honest, it looked like him.
Okay. I
you asked me a question. I'm going to take my Michigan yellow glasses off and say, yeah, it looked like him.
Okay.
Look, I'm not going to deny nothing that happened here. I'm not going to deny nothing. But it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah.
That's the law.
Yeah, and I don't know what's been proven. In fact, the NCAA has not shared anything with Michigan.
Nothing. This has all been Ohio State. It's all Ohio State. It's all them reporters from Ohio State. The Ohio State paying them. Stop it. ESPN is part of this. Stop it. It's a smear contest.
All right. Well, if it's a big old smear campaign, Hopefully, we'll find out soon that it really is. But
No, you will.
Yeah?
You will. Because what y'all,
Okay.
no, not to cut you off, what y'all are underestimating is how good we are.
I'm not underestimating how good you are.
That's it. Everybody thinks because of this, we're going to lose all of a sudden.
No, I don't think anyone's saying that.
No.
I
We
don't
about
think,
to put up 60 birds on people.
I haven't heard
You
anybody.
think-
I haven't heard anybody say that on my program.
Hey, you think Harbaugh ain't go go? You see last week with 8 seconds left, what we do? Did we kneel the ball down? No, we ran it in on Michigan State. Give me another touchdown. That's how we gonna play now.
All right. Okay.
If any time on the clock, we scoring.
Sounds good. Hey, if you can score every time you touch the ball, you go ahead and do it.
We gonna do it.
Yeah.
And watch the numbers. Watch the number go up.
I'm gonna watch. The numbers are pretty high as it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're a gambler, man, save up for Michigan. Bet on Michigan. Bet on Michigan. That's all I'm gonna say. You have a nice day, sir. It was great
Thank you,
talking
John
to you. I love
Smith.
your program.
I appreciate it.
Love your program. Keep doing what you're doing, and good luck to you.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Great call, John
sir.
Smith. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right. Great call by John Smith, Mr. Wolverine.
Immaculate.
Immaculate. The floor is yours, Mr. Hawkeye. Are you going to tell me how you... you can't do that. Forget it. Immaculate, the floor is yours. What's going on, sir?
This is a clown show.
It is a clown show.
This is an absolute...
And it's a very
That was a
fat
great
guy who is the clown who's running this show.
I enjoyed that call so much. I just wanted to say that.
It was good.
So-
Look, I say, if you disagree with me, call me, let me have it, let me know. And he did it in a respectful way, so
He did. He didn't curse once at you. He was.
that's how you do it. That's how you do it. What do you got to say, sir? What's going on in Iowa? What's going on? Is that Connor Stallions or not? Iowa Northwestern, 29.5 over under. Holy smokes.
Yeah, I just want to say in regards to the guy thing, the absolute thing that I am watching is the scoreboard. How badly does Michigan beat these teams coming up? Is it the same? Because it's been a very clear, we'll call it a shellacking that Michigan has put on teams over and over again. It's been very obvious on the scoreboard. And so I'm curious to see what that margin's going to be in the upcoming games. If it's all the same, well then, they may still broke rules and they may still get hit for it, but I'm going to look at it and say, yeah, but that team's good. And they probably didn't need it. And that was a dumb thing for them to even do. Whether how they get hit or not is another thing. But if we see a difference in the margin of score in these next 4 games coming up, that might be a red flag. And to your friend who just called in, he may have to admit that because he said that too. He said, watch the margin in these games. And so that's where I was in most agreement with him is that is, in my opinion, the most important thing for everyone to do in these upcoming games is see how much Michigan wins by. Or maybe as in Jared is saying, maybe not with OSU, but with the other 3 games, I do still think that they're a better team than Penn State, so we'll see. But, if you wanted to shift to the Iowa stuff, it was a kind of bittersweet day with Kirk's press conference today. It was a little painful to watch.
Yeah, let us. I heard that he said something to the effect of 24 years, I've never had anybody, I'm paraphrasing, we didn't handle our assistant coaches this way in regards to letting them go. Let us know what what he said, Kirk Ferentz said in the press conference.
Well, the part that you're alluding to about how it's never been handled like this in the 24 years of his time. Well, yeah, you've also never had a son of yours in a coordinator position that have to deal directly with the AD because the coordinator's direct supervisor of sorts is the head coach. Now, as an offensive line coach, you answer to the offensive coordinator. So that wasn't necessary. But when they moved him up to that position right below his father, he had to then answer to someone else other than his father. And that's why the AD got the call on this. And so for him to say that is kind of, to me, it's setting the stage for, things just aren't the same around here anymore, and it might be time for him to ride off into the sunset. I made it in a little post earlier. Like, give that man his statue and let him ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Because that's what he deserves. He deserves not to be let go, not to have anything like this, for him to choose to do it. But just like with this, if he doesn't make the right choice at the right time, there might come a time when we have to have a moment like this with him, and I don't think anybody wants that. And next year, with the way the Big Ten is going to be, and unless he, at 68, is willing to completely change his whole outlook and perspective on how they manage a team, how they run a team, who they bring in, what offenses they run, how that interplays with the defense. I just don't see him as being able to do this. And you throw this on top of it at the end of this season for him to then kind of pick up and go into this for next year. This is his son. like this is a very personal situation.
Yeah.
I think people put themselves in their own shoes. Now, this is an extraordinary man, but he's still going to have, a father's reaction to this, to watching his son be fired out from underneath him, even knowing, it wasn't his place to step into this. I mean, we're talking about an interim AD that's come in and replaced his biggest ally on the campus, who was Greg Barta. I mean, you could say Barta was probably covering for this as long as he could.
Yeah.
And then when he couldn't any longer, he gave him this one last boon, this contract before he retired and got out of there.
Yeah.
And they didn't take advantage of it. Barta gave them a way to get out of this, and they did not take advantage of it. In fact, he did worse than ever. So there's just not much there to defend him. There's just not. And that's sad, but I don't want to see him have to deal with personal attacks on him now, because the son is no longer there to go after.
Yeah.
If he brings in some other OC and things still fail next year, everyone's going to know this is on him. It's on him. And I don't think it's fair to any other prospective upcoming coach, especially if it's one that's on the team right now, to get pegged for that, but then not be allowed to maybe do what is necessary to actually win. So I think he'd have a hard time actually getting an offensive coordinator to sign up, a good one that could really do something with it. So I think it would end up being an internal hire. And I don't know if that's fair to any of those guys. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think that this ends with him taking the team through the rest of the season, and then like a big farewell with all the red carpet rolled out and everything that he deserves.
Yeah.
That's what I hope for. I hope for a good and not a bad one in a year.
Who is the interim offensive coordinator to finish the season?
I don't even think they have one. She said today after the press conference, which she didn't step up there and talk, she said that she's leaving that up to him.
Okay.
They leave it up to their coaches to do that. So it's on him to decide. They're not pushing him out the door.
Okay. All right.
I think
That's
that
true. That's true.
I think it's obvious. It should be obvious to him where, okay, we've removed this piece. Don't make them have to come after him in a year or two, man, because they're going to let him pick. They're going to let him decide. And but I don't think that saves anything. So we'll see what he does.
I got a question for you, but let me get to Super Chat Immaculate, if you don't mind. Jared Jones, we're not losing to Michigan. Mr. Buckeye says we're not losing to Michigan. Thank you for your generous super chat, Mr. Jones. I appreciate it so very much. The game, Michigan and Ohio State, it doesn't need any more juice to the game, but man, they're going to get a whole lot more juice going into this game. Look, Immaculate, I'm going to steer you back to the Connor Stallions question. Okay. Because that's the name of the show. Even though John Smith didn't like it and other people don't like it, we have to go where the story goes. And right now, this is the story. It might not be 2 days from now. Maybe everything gets figured out, or maybe this goes on for months. But again, first of all, my question is, I'm not going to hold you to it. We have no, we're just speculating here. Is it Connor Stallions or not? And if it is Connor Stallions, what does this mean to the story? And I saw you and Big Ten Ted going back and forth talking about the hair and everything. He sounds like he doesn't think it was because the guy standing on the sideline had some hair, and supposedly Connor Stallions is a baldy, like he can't grow hair. I don't know the answer to that question. What do you think? Is this Connor Stallions or not?
Big Ten Ted is in your chat room.
He is. Well, maybe he can give me a call. I know he's a private.
For him, and he's here, so maybe he would. And for me, if it is him, if it does come out that it's him, who let him on there? Did they know? Are those glasses that he's wearing? Are they some of these new glasses that have recording devices in them? Because there's another picture of him where there's another guy off over his left shoulder, and this is earlier in the game. You can see there's more sun. The guy has his glasses up on his hat, so he's not wearing his sunglasses, but he has them. So it's kind of like, why is this guy wearing these glasses so late into the game? If it's not Connor, okay, it's not Connor. But this is still strange behavior. This is someone with a visitor's pass who's trying to be incognito very poorly. You can try so hard to be incognito that you actually point yourself out. And that's what this is. He's made it very easy to see him. But I wonder about those glasses, like why he is keeping them on. Now, if he thinks it's because it keeps people from recognizing him, well, that may be one thing. But if they are recording glasses, you wouldn't need to keep those on.
If they are video camera glasses, well, first of all, has anybody done a breakdown on the sunglasses? Do they look like a product out there that's video camera glasses? I haven't seen anybody.
There's an all-black Ray-Ban glasses model that has that. I don't know. Okay. They don't quite look like those, but they're not common, but they are definitely a thing now.
The number one indication to me, I'm just talking about me, my speculation, I do not know, but the number one speculation that I think it's him is because Central Michigan hasn't offered a simple name to the guy, right? If it's not him, who is it? It should take them 30 seconds to 3 minutes to figure out who that guy is. Correct? You have to know who's on your sidelines. You got to know who you've given a visitor pass to from the 20 to the 20-yard sideline. You have to know who is that close to your coaching staff. You have to know who you gave Central Michigan Chippewa gear to. Right, Immaculate?
Well, he has a visitor's badge on, and I would think that most of those are all cataloged, and like you'd have record of who you actually printed one out to. So they could go through that, but that's probably, if there's anything that's taking time, it's them going through who they gave those badges to. But yeah, you would like to think that these coaches would know everyone on their sidelines. But I also notice at times, which makes me laugh, that these coaches often need to have a person on their sidelines whose sole duty and job is to keep them from going too far onto the field.
Yes.
You ever see that? You know, the coaches are going nuts, and like a guy's job is just to like. I don't think that these guys actually know everything that's going on in their sidelines. I'll give them that benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
but in that picture, that coach is looking right over there.
Yeah.
Because the coach that this guy in question is standing next to is the coach that the head coach is looking to for answers. So he's not standing next to some, nobody.
And there's a difference between a sideline pass, and a visitor's pass. He got a pass to where he could be between the two 20-yard lines. There are other passes where you can be at like near the corner of the end zones where you're deep in the sideline. For whatever reason, you're representing an organization, a charity, whatever. You have sideline passes, and then you have sideline passes, visitor passes. And he got the one that you could be with the players and the coaches between the two 20-yard lines. And again, who gave him the gear? It's just, the stories, it should not, we should be hearing from the athletic director of Central Michigan today. Amy Fowler, or whatever her name is, correct? I mean, this should not take long. No matter which way this goes, it shouldn't take long.
Yeah, and just one other thing I saw that I don't want to say is true or false, but statement is that there are 3 coaches, if I remember right, on the Central Michigan team that are former Michigan coaches. Like they got, they moved up by going over to Central Michigan, and that the guy next to him there is one of those.
Yeah,
so,
but did that guy spend any time with Connor Stallions?
Well, if you could coach, then they probably, were familiar with each other.
Well, Connor Stalions wasn't there very long. I mean, he hasn't been at Michigan as a coach. He hasn't as a recruiting analyst, getting paid $55,000. I don't know. I find it very.
This has been on for how many years?
Huh?
This has been going on for what, 2 or 3 years?
3 years, but before he became a paid, I don't want to say. It sounded like he might have started doing this before he became a paid employee of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's only been a paid employee of Michigan for a year and a half, if I have that correct. Maybe I don't.
I don't want connections that may not be there. I'm just saying what was stated by some folks that I am not confirming to be true is that the coach that he was standing next to there is a former Michigan coach, and he got the new job there to get a higher position, whatever. So he would have been like a coach's assistant or a lower coach at Michigan at the time. So could they have made connection there? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's the guy he's standing next to. Tell me. Probably.
Immaculate, are you able to see your? Do you have a screen phone you can look at right now? We've got more pictures of Connor Stallions, or somebody that looks like Connor Stallions. More pictures have been released. Bill G, thanks for the update. Happy Halloween. Thank you, Bill G, for your super chat, for your generosity to this channel. I appreciate it so much. Here's another picture of whoever this person is. It looks like he's got a big sheet here. He's got his visitor's pass. He's standing right there. Sunglasses, Central Michigan. There's another picture. He's cheering on whatever Central Michigan did to Michigan State. He sure does look like Connor Stallions.
I don't know. And then I'm just going to respond to something Big Ten Ted said in the comments that the sidelines isn't a good angle to view signals. I agree. But if you find out against TCU that folks are on to you and you're looking at saying maybe they're tracking our ticket purchases, you might need another way to do things that isn't quite as good, but has less chance of getting you found out. Because while maybe Jim was a little too dense to realize, that TCU had figured things out, or maybe he didn't actually know, I would say the persons that are in charge of this would probably be a little bit more paranoid about it. And
Well,
so
I'm wondering. Now Connor Stalions did keep buying tickets for this year. So if he was scared about it, he still kept doing it.
oh, they still bought him this year?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, he had tickets, those 2 tickets for the Penn State Ohio State game that were not used. He bought those tickets for this year. Now, in this picture here that I got up on, it's just me. I'm speculating. I do not know for sure. This looks like Connor Stallions. That's how he looked like at the mission. Everything but the sunglasses and the hat. Now, and he's standing next to a guy with the headset. My question for Big Ten Ted and everybody else is, this might not be a thing where it might be where he's trying to steal signs, where he's looking at Michigan State and figuring out sign stealing for the game against Michigan State later on. No question about it. It also could be, and I'm a little, maybe if he knows a couple of those coaches, Central Michigan, maybe he's giving them some help. Maybe he's communicating. Maybe at halftime he said, look, this is what they did in 2022. And looks like there might be maybe this guy's a dummy signal, this guy, whatever. Did he help Central Michigan at all? Did he help a couple assistant coaches on the staff at all? I don't know, but that looks like Connor Stalions to me. And again, I'm very, you know what? I don't even have that up on the screen. I'm sorry. Let me put that up again. That one right there.
Maybe he's there helping some of his old the guys know what he does.
Yes.
And since they're playing Michigan State, they know he knows their signals already.
Or yes. So, I don't know. I do not know, but that looks like Connor Stalions to me.
It's just strange to see a guy deciding that he needs to have, the hat on and the glasses on when no one else around is. Like the hat, whatever. That's not a big deal. Guys wear hats sometimes. But the glasses, it just doesn't make sense. Like, even if it's not him, it's kind of like, does he have an eye issue? Like, okay, maybe that's the case. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it's strange, and it draws the eye to like what's going on here. So whatever the explanation is, and I wouldn't blame CMU for going and checking into everything and maybe bringing in some counsel and just saying, hey, what's our whole situation here? What is going on? Because this is probably blindsided them. Administration and stuff, they would have had no idea about any of this. Like, all of a sudden they're pulled into this. So yeah, but to your point, if this was just a guy on the staff and they know it, then they could just be like, hey, it's him. But he's got the visitor's badge, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So who it is, maybe it's not Connor, but it's not one of their staff members. So they're probably trying to figure out right now, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. And if it's not, I don't know. I gotta believe now. It's been a couple hours. I gotta believe they know if it's Connor Stallions or not yet. They're gonna ask all the coaches, right? All the assistant coaches, all the grad assistant, whatever. All the people. Is this Connor Stallions? Is this Connor Stallions? And one of them's, they're gonna fess up, right? They can't. Someone gave him the shirt, for goodness sake. Someone gave him the hat. So I think we're going to find out more information later today.
What if he signed up for this with a false name and there's a current coach on there that helped them get it, and so then they're complicit in this. So now the school would have to start looking into what are we going to have to do to that coach. I mean, this could have become a much bigger situation than just Connor Stallions at CMU. Like, they might now be looking at some of their coach behavior who brought this guy on, and if he didn't sign up with his real name and they used a false name or something, and these guys helped him get it, like, this could be bigger. We don't know.
Yeah.
And so I do, with Ted on this, I'm like, we might just need to let them figure this out. This might become a different story than we actually saw coming. So I don't know. But I got to get going here. I got to get running.
Appreciate the call, man.
And then call you as well. But good call. And once again, that previous caller, that was great. I'd love to see more of that.
John Smith, Michigan. I hope he calls again. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Have yourself a good day.
Yeah. We've got breaking news. Hold on one second. We've got breaking news. Jim Bagley, Michigan State, now Central Michigan. The NCAA needs a regional office fully staffed in Michigan for these 3 schools. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jim Bagley, for your generosity to this channel. Appreciate you helping us keep the lights on. Thank you so very much. We do have breaking news from Jason Shear of Arizona Authority, Arizona 247 Sports. Hearing the Big 12 schedule for football will drop tomorrow. We're going to try to carry that live, as we did last night when the ACC dropped their schedule. We'll try to carry that live. That's a 16-team conference. The new ones coming on in: Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah. Are they going to go with no divisions? I believe so. Are they going to have some permanent rivals? Is it going to be flex like what the ACC and the Big Ten did? We're going to find out tomorrow. The Big 12 schedule. Now, Jason Shear calls it a Big 12 schedule. Is it the actual schedule with the actual dates of the games? Or is it a Big 12 model? Matchups for 2024, and then the structural model for the years going forward. He calls it a Big 12 schedule, so that might mean there's going to be dates associated with the 2024 schedule, which means that you, the consumer, the fan base, can make your travel plans for going to away games. I got a feeling that it's probably a matchup schedule. You know who you're going to play, but you don't know when you're going to play them. We're going to find that out tomorrow. So there it is. Breaking news. Big 12 football schedule will drop tomorrow. It's going to be pretty interesting. Who's going to be the permanent rivals? Like Arizona's permanent rival is going to be Arizona State. Is it going to be Utah as well? Or is it going to be Utah and Colorado? And then that's it? What about West Virginia? Are their permanent rivals going to be Cincinnati, UCF? Or is UCF not going to have any permanent rivals? And what about the Texas school? Are they going to be all just a permanent rival pod with each other? I don't know. Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU, Houston. Are they going to be permanent rivals with all each other? I'm guessing probably not. But I'm not sure. We're going to find that out tomorrow. Again, with your comments, your phone calls, let me know what you're going to think, what you think is going to happen with the Big 12 schedule. Richard L., Mr. Buffalo, Colorado permanent rivals, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Utah. Oklahoma State with Colorado. That makes some sense. Kansas State and Utah. 3 of them. I was about to call Colorado a newbie into the Big 12, but they're not really a newbie, so to speak. Heartbreak 25, John Smith equals Connor Stallions. I don't think so. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, Heartbreak, for your generosity. I appreciate it. I appreciated John Smith's call early in the program. Connor Stallions, at some point, Connor Stallions is going to speak. Could be a day from now. Could be a week from now. Could be 3 years from now. Could be 20 years from now. This is going to be an ESPN 30 for 30 program. It could be a movie. We don't know the depth of this story yet. We don't even know if that's Connor Stallions on the sidelines of Central Michigan. Again, I got a feeling that we're going to find out today, as soon as today, if it was or not.
Call from
Big Ten Ted.
Big Ten Ted is on the
To
line.
accept, press 1.
He
To
does
send a
not
voicemail,
believe.
press 2.
Are you there? Are you there?
I'm here.
Yes, Big Ten Ted is on the line. He does not believe. He's not convinced. He's got his inspector glass on. He's looking at the photos. He's got a whole room in the back of his house. He knows how to dissect this stuff. He does not. Oh, he's not convinced it's Connor Stallions. Did I put words in your mouth, sir?
No, you're good. You're good. This is just an interesting game to play, and I kind of wish we were playing this game during the off season.
Yes, I know.
But here we are. I don't know. It just to me, it just doesn't add up. But a lot of this stuff doesn't add up. A lot of this stuff doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like scouting in person on the sidelines against Michigan State. I could see it maybe against Ohio State, against Penn State, but Michigan State, like that kind of goes whole back to our conversation that we had the last time I called in, which was the first time, by the way. It was why? You don't need to do this. That's, I guess, where I'm coming from is this, you can talk about the facial hair, the this, the that, the sunglasses. I'll admit some of the action on video and the sunglasses, it's a little fishy. It's a little shady. I'm definitely not gonna dispute that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just some things where, like I said, with the hair, there's some people, like I follow a great account on Twitter, Mr. Ohio, right? If you're Ohio State fan or whatever, even, he's saying, this is not Connor Stallions because he kind of showed multiple angles as well. Then there's been team photos of guys that kind of look like him as well. Maybe I'm trying to speak it into existence a little bit, but I'll kind of say that because I want to focus on football.
I know you do. I know you do. And I keep dragging you back out. I keep dragging you back out to the deep weeds of nonsense. I will say this. I've seen the the team pictures. In fact, I showed it early in the program. I don't think that guy looks like the assistant coaches, but that's just my opinion. And again, I go back to the fact if this wasn't him, if this is somebody else, it would take such a short time to let us know that it's not him.
Okay, so I want to dive into that a little bit.
As the clock ticks, Big Ten Ted, unless you can convince me in the PATC community, the more the clock ticks, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, the more convinced that I am that it is him. But go ahead, let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, and we kind of exchange on Twitter, so I've got a little bit of a media background in terms of like applying for credentials and everything like that. So here's some information some questions I'll admit that I have with the situation. So the game was at Michigan State. Okay, so everybody's talking about Central Michigan, and that's fine because they're probably going to go in and they're going to look at their staff from graduate assistants to whatever. They're going to look at all of those people. But in the end, although the credentials, it looks like it said VB, I assume that's visitors bench
That would make sense. A lot of times it's identifying the, home versus visitor and where the credential is meant to give access to, so to speak. It wouldn't surprise me that this thing maybe takes a little bit longer. And I agree with you in saying the longer that this thing kind of goes on, and it's only been 2 hours. Like, that's something I think.
Okay.
Let's talk about this as first. As I mentioned this to Immaculate. Let them sit down and have their lunch. Let them have their sandwich. Let them have their chips. Let them do what they need to do. But I'm sure they're taking all of the steps to make sure that they get this right. But Michigan State might be involved in this as well, because although the credentials were Central Michigan branded credentials, I would assume that one of two things would have to happen. That Michigan State, the university, right, their SID, media relations, whatever it is, would either have to, one, issue or two, approve these type of credentials. If Central Michigan had these team credentials throughout the entire season, they would have to approve the list. So having that game at Michigan State, I would assume that they are somehow, I don't know how, right, whether it's approval or issue, I don't know how that worked. But I would assume that maybe it's maybe not as simple as the Central Michigan SID or AD saying, yep, that's our guy. Okay, this is who is there. That's the guy. Maybe they're checking in with Michigan State or, in terms of the credential that was issued, because that's kind of at the heart of the issue, right? Okay, if that is Connor Stallions, you kind of mentioned, okay, how did he get this pass? How did he get this specific pass? Who did he get it from? Where did he get the CMU gear? I know you posed all of those questions here before. So I think there's a couple more issues in terms of this that I think needs to be broken down. But in theory, we should have our answer by tomorrow. If we don't have it, what time is it now here? 3:42, looking outside the window at all the great snow that fell overnight here in Minnesota. But I would say if we're getting to 3:42 tomorrow and we haven't heard anything, now some questions start to trickle into the old brain. Now they start to think, so.
A couple things. One is it was reported in the ESPN report that Michigan State is aware of this, and I forget how it was phrased. I'm going to try to find it real quick. Here, I found it. I just got lucky. Put up the right image. Michigan State is aware of the Stallions' potential presence at the opener, and sources at Michigan State told ESPN that the school is discussing potential next steps as it is prepared to cooperate with any formal investigation that arises from this. So I got a feeling that Michigan State knows if it was him or not at this point.
Yeah.
And then you get back and back to your question about why would Connor Stallions be at this game? Why you're looking at Michigan State? Why? What is your motivation? Because it's Michigan State. You're going to pound Michigan State, right? Regardless.
Mm-hmm.
My answer to that is, again, this is the fat guy from Minnesota. I'm just speculating. I do not know. I'm just trying to answer a speculative question. Big Ten Ted said, I'm trying to answer it. Because maybe this was a complete rogue operation, which, by the way, I cannot believe it would be completely rogue. I got to believe that Jim Harbaugh knew this was going on at some point. Whatever. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But this was a rogue operation. And the motivation for Mr. Connor Stallions was Connor Stallions in this situation. In other words, this is an opportunity. I can give some information to people I've worked with at Central Michigan. We can beat Michigan State. You remember, he's a Michigan guy, right? He's obsessed. People at Naval Academy said he's obsessed. One of the pictures that I showed earlier has him pumping his fist because at the sideline, if it's Connor Stallions, he's pumping his fist because Central Michigan might have made a good play. That I'm just throwing out a theory. on why he would go to this game, not to beat Michigan State for the betterment of Michigan, but for the betterment of Connor Stalions. What do you think of that?
So, yeah, the whole going rogue thing has been really brought up. And I've been trying, as much as I don't want to think about this, as much as I want to think that, I would love to break down Northwestern and Iowa. I would love to break down all of these games this week. This is something that creeps into my head. And this whole rogue thing interests me, right? Because in an article, we did see the one thing we did see, apparently, according, I think that was the Washington Post one, where it said the video found its way onto that was shot, found its way onto computers. That was kind of the closest thing that we've gotten the rest of the Michigan staff tied to Connor Stalions in this operation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it is it's very possible that this could have been a very rogue thing. Like, if you look up this whole Michigan manifesto thing, this guy clearly had one goal. He was a very narrow-minded, one goal in mind type of guy, and that's to someday lead the Michigan program. Because this guy, I think one thing that, no matter what side you're on or how you look at this thing, I think we can all agree, Connor Stalions was pretty obsessive in his fandom for Michigan and in really how much he wanted to be involved. And then maybe that branches off to how much he wanted to impress, when he was kind of, before he joined the staff officially. I think that was in 2022. So I think that's indisputable right now. So that's something that's really been thrown around as well. And Greg, I couldn't help – now maybe I tuned in late to the show today, and maybe I didn't notice this, but I haven't heard any mention about the On3 report from the Wolverine saying that Jim Harbaugh and a contract extension could be coming a mere day or days, I can't remember, where it said that it was off the table. Now I'm hearing from the Wolverine, the On3 site, and a few other sites saying that a contract extension could be coming up here in the next few days. I'm curious to ask you, how does that change things from your point of view?
I'm not buying it.
Okay.
I'm not buying it. Now, maybe I'm proven wrong, and if I'm proven wrong, I'll take the big fat L tomorrow's show, whenever that contract gets signed. The reason why I'm not buying it is because in this last report, I can't remember, it's all kind of running together, but Wall Street Journal or Washington Post or Sports Illustrated, the NCAA has yet to share the investigation with the University of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way that the president and the board of regents at the University of Michigan is going to okay a massive contract with Jim Harbaugh, extending it past 2026 without knowing the investigation, without knowing what the NCAA has. I find that...
Do they know more than we know? Okay, that's, I think, the question that needs to be asked right now. Okay, it sounds like the NCAA was there over this past weekend. I don't know what they were doing, maybe interviewing some people, gathering information, whatever it was. That's what it sounds like. But do University of Michigan officials know more than we do right now, based on maybe the NCAA being there? And that's we don't know. We obviously, of course, we don't know. That's the whole point of this. So that's one thing that I'm very interested in. But I did see that report earlier today. Yeah. It was very interesting because it was the complete opposite of what we saw earlier in the week. This is the thing that's going to continue to happen with Michigan. There's so many conflicting reports right now.
Let me turn the question back to you.
Okay.
What is the advantage of the University of Michigan doing this massive contract extension right now with Jim Harbaugh?
Well, first of all, it's to keep Jim Harbaugh around. That kind of was even before the season because he's flirted with the NFL the last two seasons. Okay, that's the first thing. And then the second thing, kind of branching off of that, is based on what we were just talking about. Maybe they know more than we do right now. I agree with you. I agree that, in the middle of an investigation, multiple investigations, we should say, to sign a contract extension, I'll admit that, it's especially, like I said, days after it was reported to the contrary. it does. It does make you think a little bit. If
they
you're
put-
administration right now,
is those reports? I mean, I read them and everything. I don't remember, other than shaking my head when I read it. But are they putting a timetable on this, like a week, couple days?
I don't think they really gave a timetable. It just said that they were, soon, kind of a deal is the way it sounded. This is going to be, crazy. It's going to be crazy, to really witness this. But yeah, I was just kind of curious of where you were at, in terms of that. So it's going to be, I honestly don't know what to think, right? I honestly don't know what to think. I don't know. I hate this. Go ahead.
One other part of the report, and it was early on, and if it's true, that there source close to the investigation said that there was a calendar in that computer, right, with the budgets,
Sure,
of the expenditures of this in-person scheme, how much it was going to cost, and calendars of names of people going to certain places, stadiums for in-person scouting. Into a computer in which more than just Connor Stallions had access to, the coaches.
Yeah.
Again, that goes against any theory of this being a complete rogue operation.
Yeah, that was the Washington Post. That was like the last thing mentioned in the Washington Post. And that was because all the other stuff before that could have been, this is a rogue operation. Connor wanted to send whoever his guys were out to these games across the country, film them, and then maybe now he's viewing the video, right? And then he's kind of trying to get a leg up with some of these higher level assistant coaches, coordinators, to kind of be looked more favorably upon within this Michigan program. But in the back half of that article, the Washington Post, it's saying, now this was uploaded to drives where it was accessible to assistant coaches and other staff that was on there as well. So that's really the thing that kind of tied it back within the building. And now when you talk about in-person scouting, that's another deal. But when in terms of gathering audio and video to use it to your advantage for scouting, obviously that's the second violation that you can see.
So when we talk about the theory of does Michigan know more than the NCAA, and they're it's advantageous to get Jim Harbaugh with a contract now. I mean, to me, the best case scenario sitting for Michigan right now, sitting for Jim Harbaugh, I should say, is that this was a rogue operation, which still means there's going to be punishment handed down, because how could you let this rogue operation happen without you knowing it? Kirk Bender in the chat said, the source said that there would be language in said contract if and when the NCAA stuff would be brought down, and that could give the school an easier way out. I understand that part. Again, I'm just going to officially say I'm not buying it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to really follow this, especially this whole contract, because this contract thing, there were some disputes even before all the sign stealing, even maybe pre-Cheeseburger Gate as well. There were kind of some back and forth between, maybe there was a little bit of distance between Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel in the negotiations that they were kind of having. I think they wanted to have this thing done earlier, but we kind of know, it's fairly obvious that Jim kind of wanted to maybe create a bit of a distance because of possible future NFL opportunities. Now, is this contract maybe being brought forth back to the table because maybe NFL teams with all of this stuff, sign stealing stuff going on, are saying, I don't know, and they're cooling off of Jim a little bit. And now Jim wants to get back and play ball once again. There's so many politics kind of involved throughout this, especially the contract situation. Then, like Kirk said here, it's the in the language in the contract that if something happens for Michigan, then they can get out of it with with not too much of a financial burden on them, or as much as it can be, or as little as it can be, I should say, with a guy like Jim Harbaugh. So yeah, this is an ever fluid situation over there at Michigan. So, for me, I just don't want to, and I was going to say this before, right tonight, we all know what tonight is besides Halloween. It's the initial rankings, college football playoff rankings, right? So I'm very curious. That's going to be something I'm going to have one eye open, so to speak, on that is where are they going to rank Michigan? I just don't want Michigan and their performance thus far this season. And who knows, if this whole thing is true, then of course there's a competitive advantage. There's no doubt about that. Other coaches like Bob Stoops and others have kind of come out and said that, but I don't know. Michigan is just so dominant right now. Coming at it from my angle, I kind of want them to be rightfully represented, so to speak, in these college football playoff rankings. Even though I could very well see the committee put in Ohio State above them because of resume. Although I thought Michigan has looked more impressive than Ohio State, but on a lesser schedule. Also, I know it's still a lesser schedule than Ohio State. But look at their non-conference schedule. Some of those teams aren't doing too bad this year. UNLV is a pretty solid team. Last time I checked, I think record-wise, they're not Notre Dame or anything like that. But obviously Ohio State has a better resume right now. But, it's going to be an interesting – I feel like things like this whole Central Michigan thing are going to continue to pop up. Okay, if you love Michigan content, you just log on to Twitter every morning. just go on to YouTube. You'll find stuff. If you're an internet sleuth and you want to really dig for stuff, now's your time to shine. Kind of a deal. So,
all righty, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks for the call, Big Ten Ted. Check him out, YouTube channel. He does an incredible job. Thank you, sir, so very much.
Thank you.
You got it. Great call once again from Big Ten Ted. Jim Troy. Pflugar doesn't buy what another online media has to announce today. You can't trust any sites. It's all fake news. There are times where I'm not saying it's fake news. A lot of times you get something wrong and there's nothing fake about it. And they could end up being right. And I said in the phone call with Big Ten Ted that I would take the big fat L if there's an announcement here soon that Jim Harbaugh has signed an extension with Michigan, this massive extension. I said I'll take the L, and I'll take the L. I'll start off the next show. Whenever this happens, I'll take the L. Just because you get something wrong doesn't mean you're lying or it's fake news. Let me put it that way. Second of all, I think we at Peek Around the Corner have a pretty good track record of taking information that the people that I trust in other media outlets are not necessarily agreeing with me or going after me, and we end up doing pretty good on the story. So, again, I'm not taking a shot at those other online media outlets. Maybe they have the source that's telling them, or what the source believes. I cannot buy it. It just doesn't logically fit. Now, if I have a source that tells me that it's happening, I'll say, look, I was wrong. It is going to happen. But I'm not buying it. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. And I could end up being wrong, and I'm going to take the big fat L on it. So I appreciate the comment, Jim. Cameron B., thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate it. Big 12 schedule dropping tomorrow per Jason Shear. We did put that. We highlighted that about 15, 20 minutes ago. It sounds like it's going to be the 24 to 27 model, scheduling model, between 24 and 2027. So I don't think we're going to get the exact dates of the games for 2024 Big 12 conference games. We're not going to get that. We're going to get the matchups, probably the permanent rivals, and the matchups for 24, 25, 26, and 27, the next 4 football seasons. That looks like what we're going to get. Thank you, Cameron B, for the super chat. I appreciate the generosity. What is going on around here? Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely great call, Ted. As always. Kirk Bender says, I'm not buying it either, to be honest. It seems pretty far-fetched. I trust the Wall Street Journal more. Maybe the Wall Street Journal got it wrong. Just logically, I cannot get it to connect with my brain of mine, but I could be wrong. And if I am, no question about it, I will admit it. I will admit it. Daniel Montecastle, this show is such a blessing. Greg brought the best of the best together. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're feeling better, good sir. Praying for you. My good thoughts are with you and the wife. Small setback for a big, major comeback from Mr. Hoosier, Daniel Montcastle. Let me just check real quick here. Real quick. Now, I'm still planning on doing a live show tonight. At the time of the ratings, when they drop the playoff ratings. We'll see what happens. Again, I've already done a 2-hour live show. I know that people get sick of looking at my ugly mug and my horrible voice. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I am planning to do a live show this evening to cover the college football rankings. The first one from the College Football Playoff Management Committee, whatever you want to call them. We'll see where Georgia lines up. We'll see where Michigan lines up with Ohio State. We're going to find out exactly where Washington's going to be. Are they going to be number 5? Number 4? In Georgia, I've seen some people project Georgia as number 5. I cannot believe that. I believe Georgia's going to be number 1. I got Georgia number 1. I got Michigan number 2. I got Buckeyes number 3. Florida State 4. Washington 5. I think that's how it's going to play out. But we shall see. Expedition Greg. Here's something to keep the lights on, my friend. I appreciate you super chat. And I appreciate your help giving me the DMs and everything, Expedition Greg. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support of this channel. You all are helping us keep the lights on. Thank you so very much. Again, Jim, it's all good. No problem. No problem at all. We had John Smith, Mr. Wolverine. He called in. He told me I was wrong, that everybody was wrong. It doesn't matter. Michigan's going to crush everybody. And Michigan could absolutely crush everybody on their way to the national championship. But here, as we close out this live show, I gotta say it again. I go where the story goes. This channel goes where the story goes. And if it goes in the heart of Minneapolis to the University of Minnesota, the home of many scandals, we will go there. We go where the story goes. That's what we do. We cover everything in college football. Preseason rankings, bowl projections, hot board seats, realignment like nobody's business. We cover it all. So, as you leave our live channel today, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified of where we're coming on next, because we could come on up live at any time. Make sure you smash that like button before you leave our channel today. It helps us with the algorithms of YouTube so very, very much. We appreciate it. We'll see you again soon, hopefully tonight. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.